Hello and welcome. We're going to take a look around Madagascar from Dreamworks section at Motiongate, Dubai. That's a bit of a tongue twister to start with, but this is one of the most vibrant sections of the Dreamworks layout. So if you saw the video before this, you would have seen that it is actually split into multiple sections where we've got Kung Fu Panda, we've got Shrek, and we've got the Madagascar. Now the Madagascar, it also leads into how to train your dragon. I do believe that's the correct term or the correct name of it. So as we walk through, we'll have a look at that towards the end of the video as well. Now, some of the videos that you will see within this playlist from the Dreamworks section, they're nice and calm and slow with regards to the rides and things. This one has something for absolutely everybody. It's a bit of a shock for a lot of people. Look for the guy taking the selfie on the left. Legend. We will take a look at the shops and things that are in here. You've got all the different characters from Madagascar as well. I've not seen the film, so I can't say who's who, but again in the comments below let me know. But this has one of the quickest roller coasters within the whole park, let alone the actual Dreamworks section, and it's a night ride as well. So where that big tent is, which is the Mad Pursuit, people think it's just going to be a nice gentle calm ride, and it is a launch coaster and it goes some. So it's if you've not been before or you weren't expecting it, it's a bit of a shock the first couple of times you do it, but it's good fun. But I say this in every single video in this playlist, it is absolutely deserted and we have the whole thing to ourselves. So we just do a nice full tour, but at least you can see all how nice and bright it is with all the lights on the ceiling and everything else around. And you want to keep your eyes on the roller coaster track above the train, because the Mad Pursuit does come shooting round. So if you blink you miss, it's above the shop, so we'll pan down and then pan back up again. But there are plenty of screams in the background, but like everything else, I've turned the music right down in the back just because it's so loud. But just get yourself ready for this thing to shoot round. There it is, and there it goes, and the screams are ridiculous when it comes in and back out again, and then it just goes back into pitch black. So that the Mad Pursuit is the entrance with regards to the roller coaster, and then the big top treasure is the actual shop, which is obviously the shop as we come back off the ride. So we have a quick look and a show and tell around, just because I was actually struggling to show bits and pieces off. So as we're looking with regards to this, what else is there to come from the Dreamworks section? So like I said at the start, you have Shrek. Now Shrek is no roller coasters, it's got a couple of very gentle rides. It's more meant for a much younger demographic. And then you have Kung Fu Panda, again that's much younger as well. Now these are the lockers that you could not use at all because of COVID. They blocked all of those off. So what you should have done is you should have been able to use the lockers to put your stuff in, which was free for an hour, to then go on this roller coaster. So you couldn't have your phone, you couldn't have anything on you whatsoever, and then you just came back and got it. But weirdly, they've now just got the normal boxes that you just put your stuff in like you would do at any other theme park, and it works absolutely fine. So they have got a load of different lockers within the whole of this sort of Motiongate land, but they're not really necessary because they could have just done what they do now and used that space for something else. But at the same time, it is quite nice to put your bag in there, and then you can get on all the rides and then just get your bag back off as well. So you can see why they've done it. It's a bit like the lockers and things that they have for the much more faster roller coasters at Universal, because you physically just can't have anything, and the volume of traffic is just so much. But they've got such a big space when you get off the ride. It almost works better not actually having the lockers anymore. So maybe it might be something they'll keep, maybe not, but you can see how big a queue line this actually would be when it is full fat. If you have ever been to this facility and it has been a huge queue, please let us know in the comments how long you had to queue for, because every single time I got to this park I walked straight on. I never ever queued for this ride. So I timed it absolutely perfectly well, just having to get on, get it done, and then get back off again. The only advantage, I suppose, thinking about the lockers, is I wouldn't have been able to film the queue line for you. So there's not many times you're going to have the opportunity to see videos with the queue lines in, because some of the rides obviously make you have everything out beforehand. So some of this stuff you would never been able to have seen. But I was saying that they have such a huge area when you get off the ride to put your bits and pieces in, it works just as well. And the theming, like everything else, it's very good with regards to all the bits and pieces that they've got in there. But it doesn't mean anything to me, this ride, with regards to the characters and things, but it is a very, very quick ride. It is very, very surprising how fast it is. I would compare the speed from this to the Hulk at Universal. So if you've ever been on the Hulk at Universal and you listen to this back, it's similar. It's similar par. So yeah, it's quite surprising. It doesn't look like it should be. And then that's the ride done, and then we get back off, and you can just see the carriages that you sit on. But you can see how much space you have when you get off. Now we're going to loop round and go into the shop. So I do believe we might have a couple of minutes in the shop. So I will carry on talking about the other bits and pieces that were within the Dreamworks. So the video that was prior to this, we did the sort of tour through the shops, and then we looped it around the amazing water fountain, and we had a look at the different sectors and sections with the Kung Fu Panda, the Shrek, and obviously this. Now this we will lead on to How to Train Your Dragon, which has some fantastic rides in. It's got a very, very surprising roller coaster, which you'll see as we sort of dangle down and fly around. But if there's any sort of merchandise that you can see that you would like to pick up yourself, if you ever came here, please do let me know in the comments below. I've got to admit, I did not buy a single t-shirt, hoodie, hat or anything, and I've shamed a couple of people. I didn't even get anything from the Lego shop either, so I came back completely empty-handed from this trip. But I still had an okay time, so it was all right. But yep, there's another batch of those lockers which they've just completely blocked off. So I wonder in a couple of weeks when their regs change that they might all be back open again. It'll just be interesting to see how they get used. But I probably prefer this section to any of the others, only because I like bright colours, so I appreciate how they've done everything on the ceiling and everything else like that. Whereas Shrek, it's exactly how it should be within the film. It's all quite dark. And then the How to Train Your Dragon, and that's very, very visually impressive as well, but it's not bright. But I would say that probably this roller coaster tops How to Train Your Dragon. It's close. It's close for equal lands of how good they are, and then you can sort of fight over third position with either Shrek or Kung Fu Panda, because there's no rides that a single adult would sort of go on with regards to, well, you might do, but I personally didn't go on any of these sorts of things, but that's just because it's not my cup of tea. But you have another place to eat, so there's plenty of eateries, so you can sit down and grab a bite to eat for lunch. Again, nobody in there. And then I think now we start heading out. Looking at the time, so it's coming up to the 8-minute mark. So I'm watching this back for the first time with you guys, so I do believe now what we'll do is we'll start heading up to where it's flashing just to the right hand side, and then it comes into another sort of section where we can go left or we can go right, and then we'll head out into the How to Train Your Dragons. I think we can link into Shrek from this as well. So it's all very, very well connected from the front, which you saw in the video prior, and where I walked into when I did the introduction, that was straight from the water fountain as well. But now Shrek is just coming up, so you can see the artwork for Shrek in front. But I do believe if we've done it right, we can then just get straight into How to Train Your Dragon, and we can just have a good look around. Yes, so we're just going to go out and turn left. There we go. So How to Train Your Dragon's on the left, Shrek's on your right, and we'll go and have a look and see what bits and pieces are available in How to Train Your Dragon. It's bizarre that it's not labelled at the front. It has it on the wall, but it's not that easy to find, because if you didn't come up that far, you wouldn't have got into this bit. So this bit was nobody, I do believe, to start with, because you can go left and you can go right, but I went straight over the bridge. Now this has loads of different bits in, so this is a huge play area just down here, which again was blocked off because of the rules and regulations, so you couldn't start using that children's play area. Now to the right hand side is a swinging ship, straight in front there's a shop, and then it wraps around into a restaurant, and then we go into the main section for the roller coaster as well. So we will have a nice slow walk around. Now this land feels huge, and it's very, very impressive when you see in a second with regards to the ride and what I mean by why it's impressive. But again, what they've got is that you come out of the shops through the exit of the ride, like you always do. But we'll have a quick sneak peek in here because they've got some random bits and pieces in. But again, if you know what that relates to, please let me know. But yeah, anything from How to Train Your Dragon. Again, got to be honest, not seen the film, so I'm not the best at giving you this is for this character and this is for that. But again, if you've seen it, let me know. They have got the photos running at the background, so you can get your picture done. So this is one of the times where the ride was running. If I remember rightly, I actually filmed this whole video and then I went in and did the ride, just because it's not always open, this one. They sometimes have some problems with this ride, so I did manage to go in and have a good look at this one. And what I do is I add the queue line for this ride at the end of the video because I filmed it separately, and it will just flow a little bit easier, because the reason behind the madness is I could hear the ride was running. I wanted to get to a certain point and it just happened to be absolutely perfect timing. So you'll see what I mean when we get there. But we've got the big roller coaster entrance just to the right hand side, and then this is the eatery. But if you keep your eyes peeled as we get a little bit further round, you can't really miss it, but as we get a little bit further round, you will see exactly what I'm going on about with regards to it is one of the most different rides I've ever been on, and it's so unexpected because the ride itself is huge, and then it does this and it shoots around everything and it tips you about, and you sort of look at the floor and you can just see everybody as you're going. It doesn't look like that quick, but it has got some pace behind it on that one. But it is it's an interesting ride. It's a bit different, but it makes me wonder how far back it actually goes, because the queue line's massive, the ride itself is huge, and obviously all the fascia is in front of the ride, so this is probably one of the bigger lands of everything. And it's the same thing with the Madagascar ride as well. How deep that track is, it does make you think, if you could get an aerial shot of the Dreamworks building, just to how big a scale this whole facility would be. Now we start coming back down, we're getting close to where we came in, so there's the Shrek again on the right hand side, and we'll start walking round and down and towards the swinging ship. And as we get closer to the ship, you can just see how large a scale this part of the section is of the land. All of it is obviously completely themed as a dragon theme, but it is the same type of ride that they have at Legoland Windsor. But we walk all the way down just to see the scale, and then we'll swing back up and start walking back up to the top, and then we will jump into the queue line of the other ride as well, which will be nice and exciting for you all to see. So far, what would your favourite section be? Would you prefer the nice bright bit of Madagascar, or are you more into your dragons? Which one of the two lands is on your list so far? And as we go through the rest of the Dreamworks, let me know what you guys think and how you would rank them 1 out of 4. And like I said, I'm tied for first with regards to How to Train Your Dragon and the Madagascar section, and then Shrek and Kung Fu Panda, it's either one will come third or fourth, just because I think of the type of rides that were there. But then if you went as a family, you would potentially be looking at it as a completely different way, because the rides that are located in those sections are much more calmer. But every single time I came into this area, it was this quiet. Even when it was a little bit busier on some of the evenings, it was still very quiet at this section. So I don't know if it is very popular, or if it's just sort of like a hidden gem and it's quite difficult to find. But there's you got the two big rides, obviously 2 rides down here, one big, and you've got the swinging ship, and then you've got the big play area as well, and a shop and a nice eatery. So it's all confined into this one space, but I really do like the theming within this section. I think it's really nice. We will now head over to the queue line. Right, now we have made it to the queue line. I think I'll start to wrap things up. So you can like and subscribe and all that good stuff. That would be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little tour with regards to this section of Dreamworks. If you want to give it a Google, we are at Dreamworks in Motiongate of Dubai Parks and Resorts. Yes, it is a massive tongue twister, but I'm doing my best to try and say it without messing it up. But as always, thanks very much for watching. You guys take care, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Ta-da!